Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to dive into TUT, or time under tension. I'm going to give you everything you need to know. Before we get into this topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, so TUT, or time under tension, can be a real hot button topic in the muscle building world. Basically, TUT is how much time you're placing tension on a muscle group or muscle groups during a set. So during bench press, once you unrack that barbell, it is a time you're placing tension on the chest, the shoulders, the triceps, etc. So it could be 30 seconds, it could be 40 seconds, or whatever. Same goes for exercise like dumbbell curls. Once you start the set, it's the amount of time you're placing that muscle group or the muscle groups involved under tension. Now, we have looked at some of the science and we realize that the amount of time a muscle group is under tension can be important. It can contribute to the muscle building process. So we see that when you don't have a lot of time under tension, it tends to be detrimental to hypertrophy or the muscle building process. When you have a reasonable amount of time under tension, it can be excellent for the muscle building process. So what happens, because time under tension is elevated as an important variable, and it is within reason, it is elevated into an important variable, so much so that people will want to resort to slowing down sets to get more time under tension. Now, that is certainly one way to achieve more time under tension. If you slow a set, obviously you're going to increase the time under tension. But in my opinion, it is not the best way or the most reasonable way to approach increasing your time under tension. Now, I will say that when you have a reasonable program, and a reasonable program means you have a good exercise selection that is focused on your compound movements, you're getting in a good amount of weekly volume, you're getting in a decent amount of frequency, and you're getting a good amount of reps, time under tension takes care of itself for the most part. Now, with that said, not all muscle groups are equal, and this is what I mean. When you're doing a bench press, you have an extended plane you're pressing that barbell along. It's going to take longer to complete that rep. When you're doing things like shrugs, it's going to take a shorter amount of time to complete that rep. So obviously, if you compare those two movements, you're going to have a much shorter time under tension for things like shrugs than you would for a barbell bench press. What this tells us is that if you are struggling to bring up your traps, you might need to add in more volume, or potentially you might want to do something like actually adding in some finishers, frequency, or slowing down sets, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Now, given the fact that time under tension can be an important variable in the muscle building process, outside of slowing sets, we will look at some of the other things you can do to increase the time under tension. Time under tension is basically a variable of set duration, how long a set takes, whatever set you're doing, bench press, curls, or whatever. You also have to factor in volume of sets. So if one set takes 30 seconds, if you do 5, you have 150 seconds of time under tension. You also have to look at frequency as well. So if you are doing, say, 30-second sets on average, and you're doing 10 sets a workout, that's 300 seconds of time under tension. You could either do that twice a week or 4 times a week, and you can double the time under tension. So time under tension is basically a factor of the average set duration, how many sets you're doing, and how frequently you're doing your workouts. Now, obviously, there is balance here. If you do too much work each week, you're going to beat the crap out of your body. Too little work, and you're probably not getting enough time under tension. And again, this is a topic that can be a heated discussion as well. But it's always best to err on the side of a little bit more rather than a little bit less, especially with the muscle building process. Don't look for extremes like super high volume, super high frequency programs, or super low volume, super low frequency programs. Come somewhere in the middle and err on the side of just a little bit more volume and just a little bit more frequency. Now, that's just my opinion. When time under tension discussions come up, almost every single time somebody will ask me, should they slow down sets? They want to increase their time under tension, so they think the only way to do that is to slow down a set. Now, I find slowing a set to be rather tedious and quite honestly just a royal pain in the butt. I don't find it to be an enjoyable way to work out. I don't like taking the power out of an exercise. I don't think that is inherently a good idea. I like to keep a natural pace in my exercises. I think that's the best way to work the muscles as they are intended to be worked. I think that's the best way to treat your joints and tendons and ligaments properly. So that is simply my opinion. Now, if you want to improve your time under tension, you can add volume of sets or reps. So let's say you're doing a 3x5 on bench press and you want to increase your time under tension. You could do a 2x5 and then add in two 10-rep sets. So you're adding in a little bit more volume of sets and reps. So you can add in more volume of sets or reps. You could add, another way to increase time under tension is to add in a finisher or extended sets. Like at the end of your workout, you could do a 100-rep set of dumbbell curls with a lighter weight. You could do 100 push-ups. You could do finishers like 4 sets of 20 on push-ups, 4 sets of 20 on cable crossovers. You could do run the rack on dumbbells. You could do your bench press day, your chest day, your tricep day, and then you might finish off running the rack or running the stack. You could run the rack on dumbbell bench press, start at 90s and then go down to 80s and go down to 70s and just do that as one complete drop set. You can do that on a stack as well. If you're doing cable tricep extensions, you might start at 150s and then drop it to 140s, 130s. So there's different ways to add time under tension by extending sets or adding in finishers. Another way you can add in time under tension is to add frequency. Now, again, we don't want to overdo the frequency. We don't want to beat the crap out of the body. Generally, for most of us, working out 4 times a week, if you're doing it properly, if you're working out hard enough, is about as much as you should be able to handle. If you're younger, 18 to 20 or whatever, and you have a really fast recovery and you can eat all day long, sometimes training 5 days a week just feels okay, and that's fine. Eventually that might catch up to you and beat up your body, but that is certainly fine. So the bottom line is these are the ways you can increase time under tension. You can slow down your sets. You can add a volume of sets or add more reps per set. You can add in finishers or extended sets, and you can add in frequency. Now, I will say, if you look in the modern bodybuilding landscape, we tend to see a lot of folks working in the gym but not getting the muscle building results they want. Don't rush in if this is you and just try to add everything all at once. Try to slowly increase your volume. Try to slowly maybe add a finisher. Most of my workouts have some sort of a finisher. And maybe bump your frequency by 1 training day a week. If you're doing a full body, you're going to train 3 days a week. You could actually increase your frequency by training every other day and training 3.5 times per week. Or you could the better option is to move to an upper-lower type of split where you're training maybe 2 days on, 1 day off, or every other day. Or you could just go to a bro split where you're training 4 to 5 days a week. So this is the cornerstone, adding volume of reps and sets, maybe adding in a finisher. Most guys you see a lot of guys doing more minimal type of programs where they're not doing enough reps per body part. So that would be the first thing I would look at. And after that, add in a finisher, and then you shouldn't have to worry about increasing your frequency. So that's a basic primer for time under tension. The next time you see somebody talking about time under tension and discussing the possibility of slowing sets, just understand that there are more ways to add time under tension than just slowing down a set, which I don't feel is the best way to do so. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.